Mike here with That's Good Enough For Me.com, doing our Who's Zoomin' Who. This is a season finale episode, by the way, so it's a fucking party. I'm here with Mike Rivkees from the Rumjacks. How are you doing?
I'm good. This is a season finale?
I have kind of a pile of episodes sitting around, and this one I'm whittling into the end of season 3.
So is there someone coming on after me to like really close it out?
No, this is the season finale.
Oh, it's pretty anticlimactic.
No, it's a celebration. So actually,
when you started this, you started with Vicky Rickshaw a year ago.
Yeah.
And now a year later, new things have happened for both of us.
No, and it's perfect. And also, I'm so happy my notes are so small because I knew you were just going to fucking talk over me like you always do. No, so in honor, I just realized this as I was saying it. So my season finale of season 1 was the first time I had, or season 2 was the first time I had like a repeat guest. I had Zach and Brian from Band-Aid Brigade back on my show. So you are my second season finale featuring a return member of Who's Zoomin' Who. So this is like monumental for me. But most importantly, I want to talk about the new Rumjacks record, Hestia.
Hell yeah.
It's fantastic. I wanted to try to get an interview with you before the album came out, and then I realized I've been drinking White Claws since February of 2020, and I totally fucked up my date. So it came out in March, right?
Came out in March, yep.
Okay. Fantastic record. I really like it. Even just right off the opening track, you have a really, really good way of taking a genre that people kind of piss on sometimes and making it sound exciting and fresh, and it doesn't get old. I owe the drummer, whose name is
Pietro della Sala.
I owe the drummer a lot. The changes are fantastic. Even just track 1 and on, of taking that Patty Rock sound and changing it up throughout the song. So I wanted to start with that. I know that you're a songwriter. So how much involvement did you have in, and do you have just in general in those types of epic changes in the middle of the song?
I wrote 95% of that album.
Okay.
So everything was really carefully put in. I mean, I wanted that opening track to kind of give you a little bit everything that the album's going to have. So it's got like, it's got that first verse that's like fast and then like long drum fill, and then it kicks into a ska part. And I think no one was expecting that sort of thing, especially like the first track of the new Rumjacks album with the new guy. And it was kind of like also calling it naysayers. It was not supposed to be a jab at the naysayers, but it totally ended up being one. Because you replace a lead singer, you're going to get a lot of pissed off people, especially with a band like the Rumjacks, where they had such a distinctive, sound and everything.
Oh, for sure. And well, I applaud you for making it such a fresh record then, if you're the one that was in charge of a lot of those big changes. Because when I heard the ska, I was like, oh, I didn't think he was going to go there. I wanted to touch like Rhythm of Her Name, I think is a really good example. So I've been listening to Vicky Rickshaw for a long time, and we've shared the stage together, obviously. I think of that song the same for the Patty Punk genre, the same way I would think about a song like Sorrow by Bad Religion or something. Like that's an epic ballad. And I think it speaks a lot for just kind of the maturity of your writing throughout this process. I wanted to talk about just if you have kind of a way to reflect on your songwriting. Has it matured a lot as you were like, shit, I'm the Rumjacks writer now, right? So how did that age you as a songwriter, or kind of push you beyond where you already were beforehand?
Yeah, so it was challenging. It was, you had to, a big portion of it is very intimidating, knowing like, these songs are getting compared to the last guy of 10 years that, so the songs can't be that different. So I had to not write to imitate them, but saying like, okay, what aspects of their sound do I already do? What do we want to keep doing? And then, what can I bring to the table that's new, that we're not afraid to like bring in new elements, I think also a lot of it is just saying like, there was a lot of just saying like, all right, we can't worry about what people are going to think, just write the best songs we can. And through that, I got a lot better at writing after writing this record.
Cool. Yeah.
So the next Rickshaw album will be really good because they trade off,
Hell yeah. No, and I would say that too, like as a fan of what you do and somebody that's been around and listening to it, the album presents itself very well. There's not, and again, we're talking about a genre that gets ripped apart all the time.
Oh yeah.
Being like, oh, every song sounds the same, right?
Yeah,
every
sure, man.
song sounds the same. So what you've given us is kind of this journey, different tempos. The tempos build and fall and build and fall. The outro of the record is really good. And I don't smoke weed really, but I'm like a big fan of that feeling when you're at the like second to last song of an album that you love. And you're like, we're steering to a close right now. You know what I mean? And I think that you did that really well. I don't have the track list in front of me, but that was the experience I had as a listener.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was, we went into the studio with like 30 demos. So by the time that we were actually able to shape out the record and be like, all right, here's how it's going to flow. Like I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And then there's a, there's a 15th song that's only on vinyl right now. And it's just like a straight up ska banger. So it's funny.
Killer.
Because I used to play in ska bands in high school. So I'm used to playing in genres that get completely beat down,
I played in a ska band in high school. Let's talk about this. I played, in my 20s, I joined a high school ska band when I was in my 20s, called the Totally Awesome Fun Band, because I was the only drummer that worked at the same telemarketing place that they worked at or something. What was your ska bands called? What were they called?
It was the Pseudo Superheroes.
Okay.
And it was a East Coast ska core, which is like 2006, 2007. That was like the biggest thing. We had bands like the Flaming Tsunamis, and I don't know. There was a lot going on. Ska core was like the word of the day.
I just interviewed an author named Mike Henneberger. His name is Mike, which is the name of the fucking day. He wrote a pretty killer book about like doing drugs in New York and hitting rock bottom. But he was in a ska band in Texas called Glue, and it stood for God Loves You. It was like Christian ska band.
Oh my God.
As soon as he said I was in a Christian ska band named Glue, I was like, I know what that stands for. So yeah, I guess, predictive genre after predictive genre, we're going to find our own ways to shit on it. But
yeah, for sure.
You are a pretty talented multi-instrumentalist. So I kind of wanted to talk about, I saw a promotional video for Rumjacks, and it showed you, sharing quite a bit of the instrumentation of the record. When you were demoing your material for the guys, like how much of that was put into play, or was that something that was kind of done when you united with them to put the piece together?
Yeah. For the demos, I still left everything open to change. Like I left everything like, yeah, hey, this is just my idea. Here's just my ideas, and you guys do whatever you want with them. Like I don't care what, you could change them, you could do whatever. So on certain tracks, I would be like, I think this song would sound better just banjo and whistle, for example, and then once we got to the studio, that's when they started being like, what if we put pipes on this one? And then that's how we ended up with like Sainted Millions, like the first single off the album is like a big epic like pipe anthem, but that originally was just whistle and banjo and accordion. I think I put accordion on everything because I think it fills in leads really well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, if you're trying to like bottom up a mix too, that's a really good instrument.
It's so nice. It just, yeah.
Cool. Okay. I did want to touch on Vicky Rickshaw a little bit, and you already brought it up. A new album. in the future, have you spent any time with those guys?
So this is my little studio. I've got like a whole little setup. I got little recording things. I've got my instruments. I've got sound paneling. Those guys have been here every week, and we have just been coming here, drinking beers, and writing songs and demoing. So we've got like a handful to choose from now, and they're fucking good.
Awesome.
The new Rickshaw songs are going to be awesome. And there have been a few occasions already where we're writing something, and then one of them says like, dude, this sounds exactly like this song you just did on the Rumjacks album. And I don't know what to do about that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really weird.
I thought about that when I was diving into the new album, right? And I was like, so we're going to say that the genre sounds the same, no matter what.
Sure.
But there was, I don't know, you sound like a wise old soul on the record to me. And I don't know if it was intentional or not, It's like
song's different.
All right. And you and I have both had long conversations about the fucking like fake leprechaun accented shitty Patty Brock band.
Yeah.
So when I heard the opening track, I was like, okay, one, this sounds totally different. Two, this band resides all over the continent, all over the world. So I immediately felt this kind of sense of relief that Vicky Rickshaw was going to be okay, because you're always going to reside where you live with your buddies. And so that band's going to be fine. But yeah, I don't know. I do question that. I mean, the bands that I play in are so polarizingly different that if I have an idea for a song, it's like it's
you know which band it goes to.
Yeah. Not
right
worried.
Right now I don't. It's like but I mean, a lot of the Rickshaw songs, they're a lot harder, faster, like just like more punk. The Rumjacks are where I try to put my good like songwriting into now. I guess I don't really know. I don't know, because like the last Rickshaw album, Home and Song, those are like the best songs I had written at that point, So I mean, I don't know, man. It's weird, but I think all the Rickshaw songs for the most part are getting written as a group, so they'll have its own distinct sound inevitably.
Yeah, and when we did, talk about this very early on, and I think it was the second episode of this show, you had mentioned kind of this imposter syndrome that you had felt, joining this band that was already well established. Do you have anything to kind of say about that now that this much time has passed and you've got the record out? Do you feel like you own this now?
No, it's weird.
Still weird.
It's weird when I see like, I'll just like get a notification like Spotify for artists, and it's like, your new release hit 2 million plays on Spotify. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to put the phone down. And it's really freaking weird. The music videos that like I directed and edited, like I did those. They're videos that I didn't shoot, but I wrote, directed, edited, wrote the song. So I'm just like, I'm trying not to be a Mel Gibson here. But like, I don't know. It's just a project that I'm taking so freaking seriously that I want these guys to feel like they made a good decision in bringing me in. And filmmaking was my background, that was because music doesn't pay. So like my job was always in filmmaking. So now that I have this vehicle that is the Rumjacks, to be like, cool, you can do everything, not do everything, but you can do a project start to finish and people are going to hear it and see it. And that's what's weird to me now. Like that all the music videos have like 300,000 plays each. It's just
that's
not.
a lot of, well, yeah, I mean, that many million Spotify plays, it's like $7 in revenue too for you guys.
Yeah. 6.5. And yeah, but that gets us out to that many people that will listen to us more, show up at shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we didn't like it, we wouldn't be on the platform, you know?
Have there been any moments where the members of the band have kind of been like, dude, you're taking us places we've never been before?
In ways, like, not, if there are things musically, like in the demos that we were writing, they were like, yeah, maybe this one doesn't fit, so we just can it, you know, stuff like that. Everything that went on the album, they're happy with, you know, they love it, that they're really happy with the album. So musically, no, but now they're like, dude, we're happy to be writing a record and recording a record. Whereas before, you know, I can't speak to them, to their experiences too much, but they kicked out their singer for a reason. You know, they were having a shitty time, and they did not enjoy writing music. They did not enjoy recording music. Like, you know how it is, a recording studio, you're stuck with people in a room for like a while. You know, you are with them, and that experience was not enjoyable before. And this time, which to me is crazy, playing music, recording music is like the most fun thing in the world. Yeah. So they were just like, yo, this is like, you could see the weight just off their shoulders.
I've experienced that too. For me as well, the studio is my like sandy beach resort. Like, if I could be anywhere in the world, it would be in a free studio with an engineer that's good and is like excited to work for 12 hours. Yeah. So I've experienced that same situation where a band member will be like, wait, you're stoked to be here?
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah, I am.
That's why I'm trying to build like a studio in my apartment, you know, like I love recording, like playing music is the sickest, you know?
Yeah, that's killer. So yeah, to like close the door on Vicky Rickshaw, I've been having a lot of fun deciding what my little sneak peek of my episode is going to be. Like, it happens sometimes where like while I'm interviewing the person or the people, something happens and I'm like, this is going to be the thing. But when you told Jim that he looked like a glistening baked honey ham, like I can't tell you how many times I've gone on YouTube just to watch that and like cry. I'm crying right now.
He's always sweating.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, and you kind of pissed me off the first time we did the Zoom because you had the like freaking boom mic and like you sounded 200 times better than like everybody else, including myself. And so my backdrop now is my work from home office and my write music office. So and my horde of, but anyways, I'll never get over the quality difference between your feed and Jim's feed as he's like Blair Witch style at his dining room table.
It is funny. People like, I'm on like meetings with clients and they're just like, that's not your phone, is it? And I'm like, no, I just have my camera hooked up. And they're like, oh, do you have lighting? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've got like this whole, I've got like a whole light that I've got here.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But that's because I have all this stuff to make documentaries with. Documentaries, commercials, and whatever the hell else I do. So that's like my career. So I gotta have this shit. And since I haven't been doing that much of it lately, it's just lying around. So I'm like, oh wait, I can at least just have this like set up so I can easily, you know, look good on Zoom.
Yeah.
But
yes, like immediately following our like shiny interview, I had Zach from Pears like in his underwear with his phone propped up and he's like laying in bed.
I could also change the colors. That's fun. I don't know which one I want to go with.
I did tell myself, I said, you know, if I'm going to keep doing this, at some point I'm going to buy like a nice light and I'm going to find, I'm like illegally using my work iPad right now to do this.
Yeah.
Broke my other one, but I was like, I'm going to take it more seriously. But there's also this side of me that's like, maybe it's for the guerrilla style side of this, even coming out of the pandemic, maybe it's better if
dude, you don't gotta, the
person I'm interviewing, like maybe they should always look and sound better than me. And maybe the charm of the entire idea.
Dude, I wouldn't buy any extra shit. I had this shit for work.
Yeah.
And I'm like a wicked gear nerd. So I was like, well, I can probably set it up for this. How do I get the camera to work with streaming? And then all sorts of things. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's talk about, and this is, prospect because the world isn't quite open yet, but do the Rumjacks have a definitive plan for touring, promoting this album, playing shows?
Yeah. So our first tour that we're not announcing it for a little while. Hold on, wait, let me see the date on this. Well, we do have a tour coming out. It's going to be in the UK. That's the first one that we are able to announce.
Okay.
And then, because the UK is pretty good with vaxes right now. And then, yeah, there's a lot coming up. And then once the world is back, everyone's thinking like by the fall, November seems like good to go everywhere. Mm-hmm. People are thinking. Yeah, I don't know. We're touring like everywhere, literally everywhere.
Killer.
Japan, there's talks of China doing like Hong Kong shows. Okay. Yeah, Indonesia, doing a few other places in Southeast Asia, Malaysia. Then they want to do South and Central America. They're doing it all. But we just signed with a big booking agency, AMG, Atomic Music Group. That's in the US. So there's going to be big US tours coming up.
Killer. Well, you've watched I would hope you have watched NoFX Backstage Passport when they play in all these sketchy countries where they're funneling their gear into a train to make it to the next country. Yeah,
that was great. That was a really good series.
Can you describe a bunch of artists from different countries kind of gathering together even to make the record? How does that whole thing kind of unfold?
So we all met up in Milan. Milan is the band's home base now because our manager owns a studio there. So we recorded in his studio. Basically, the whole album was DIY. It was just the band and their manager just recording and putting it out. So it was really interesting not knowing if I was going to get into the country, and same goes for a few of the other guys. One of the guys lives in Croatia, and they had a no travel thing with Italy. He couldn't book a flight, but he could book a bus. So he took a bus. It was like a gypsy bus. It was literally full of gypsies. I don't mean that in any derogatory way, because I think sometimes people do. I don't know. Us Americans, we're not quite sure about the word gypsy. I don't know. Maybe it's something I'm supposed to know about. I don't know.
This is for my 4 subscribers. If you could just comment right there and let us know how you feel about this terminology.
I have people from Romania that are like, no, that's cool. And then I have people from Bulgaria that are like, yeah, that's cool. So I don't know.
Well, my mother did the 23andMe and found out that she's very much part gypsy. So
Roma.
I think that means we're allowed to talk about it.
That's cool.
But yeah, so he was able to get there though.
He got there. It was exciting because it was day after day, one by one, each member arrived.
Yeah.
And then it was like a dorm. It was like a band dorm that we were living in. And
so had you met any of these guys in the flesh before you joined their band?
Yeah. We played a show with them in upstate New York once, and then once in Germany. And that was it. And then Johnny, the bass player and the manager, they were in New York City when I was living there last year. So they hung out at my apartment 2 months before they asked me to join the band.
Did they approach you or were they asking for tryouts?
No. So they just came to the apartment. They were in New York to talk to some labels and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, you guys are in the city? Come hang out. I'll make you pasta. We'll do a video. So we did a stupid video. And we just had a good time. And then they got back and Johnny was like, yo, we should play music sometime. Even if it's just some like scrappy punk band or something. Like we could do like a few tours around Europe, like nothing crazy. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that'd be awesome. And then a situation happened with their singer that they said, yeah, this guy's out of the band. So they immediately hit me up. They didn't even think about anyone else that they probably should have. They'd be a lot better off if they got like a real singer.
I'm not going to compliment you. You can keep trying.
Well, no, it goes back to the imposter syndrome.
Here's
the imposter syndrome. The Rumjacks are like, they're a decent sized band in the Celtic punk world. And it's like, yo, I'm like a Jewish dude from Connecticut.
Yeah. Well, I play in an Irish band with a bunch of Eastern European guys. So
yeah. I am also Irish, just saying. I've got the background for it, but
you heard it here first. Well, cool. Hestia is killer. I'm excited to listen to it some more. And I'm excited for the tours and stuff that follow. And I wanted to thank you for joining me today. Thank you.
It was good as always.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I'm excited to see you in person again. Sometime in the year 3015.
Dude, one of these days. I got my second shot 2 days ago. So I'm able to just get out there.
Yeah.
It destroyed me, by the way.
Oh, same here. Good.
Flattened. Good. That was horrible.
My wife was like, my arm kind of hurts. Are you sure you're not like hungover? And I was like, quit talking. I can feel the vibrations of your voice.